Hey guys, and welcome to the cons of entrepreneurship. Okay, so I don't want to settle too much here. We don't need to dwell on the more negative elements to starting your own business. But I would be doing you a disservice if I did not at least shine a light into the dark places, right? With anything, there are ebbs and flows. We've already discussed this. You already know some of the challenges that you're going to face throughout this entrepreneurial journey. But I do want to draw attention to the 5 major downsides of starting your own OT practice, or really any entrepreneurial journey, because you do need to be aware of them and you do need to know how to prepare yourself for them. And if you know it on the front side of your journey, you can begin to make an action plan and really know how you're going to approach these challenges when they arise. So the good news is, if you listen to these different challenges and still feel like, I could do that, that's not that bad, then awesome, go get it. And you're off to a great start, and you'll know how to face it when it comes. Okay, so the cons of entrepreneurship. This is specifically to adult occupational therapy. If this is not pertaining to you, certainly you can pull truth out of it for any line of business that you're heading into. So I would recommend just listening to it, even if you are not starting an adult occupational therapy clinic or practice. You can still pull some really good tidbits out of it. So the first one is you're sacrificing time. Time is so valuable. In fact, I would dare say that it is one of the most valuable elements that you have as an entrepreneur. Time, you only have a certain number of hours in a day, and you can't make more. And you do need to sleep, you do need to eat, you do need to, prioritize your relationships. So how do you do all of that? How do you manage your life responsibilities, and your health, while also managing all of the elements of your business? Some of the things that you're going to need to do as an entrepreneur is, starting out, you're going to need money, right? A lot of individuals don't choose to take out a loan. They don't have a lot of financial resources. And so you are still going to be working through your journey. That is, I would say, one of the cons, one of the downsides of entrepreneurship. Now, it can also be a benefit because you're continuing to build your competency, you're continuing to be a face in your community, you're continuing to build your network in other areas of the industry, right? So for me, I'll always have I'll always be in places in the community because I just enjoy it, and I enjoy building my competencies. But it is very difficult to have several odd jobs to pay your bills while also needing to grow your business. How do you find a balance there? It is possible. You just have to do it very methodically. So having alternative jobs while you're growing your business, figuring out costs and revenues, just building your business model, that is very time consuming. Learning new systems. So if you're not familiar with different apps or different software or what have you, learning how to do that and teaching yourself that is very difficult, and it takes up a lot of time. Marketing is a big chunk of time, right? Because you need to, think about all the different areas of marketing. Think about your marketing plan. What kind of marketing are you doing? You're going to have to create materials for that. You're going to have to talk to people for that, and you're going to have to be face-to-face for that, which also takes hours out of your day. Service delivery. So yes, you have all of these other areas that you need to complete, but now you are the clinician, right? You are actually the one delivering the service, and you need to dedicate hours for that, because that's how you're going to make money. So that needs to be a priority. And then finally, networking, just going to networking meetings or sitting in networking events or what have you. All of that takes time. And that is because time is valuable. It's a big sacrifice for sure. Next, the upfront financial investment. We go into a little bit more of that in the cost structure of your company. You want to take a look at the supplement material, in that I included a list of different costs you may face. Obviously, it's unique to everybody, but that is just an example of some costs you may accrue. So upfront financial investments, deposits, if you're investing in something, you're opening an account, all of that takes deposits. So you're going to need to have, liquid cash to be able to start your business. So developing your public image, your marketing materials, all of that front, right? That storefront, if you will, whether you're mobile or whether you have an actual brick and mortar business, establishing that public image and your branding takes money. And then finally, your clinical tools. So if you are going into a mobile practice or a brick and mortar practice or any kind of clinical work, you're going to need assessments, you're going to need tools, you're going to need supplies, equipment. That comes with it. And so you have to, prepare yourself for the cost of that. Okay, lack of public and professional education. This is a big one. Unfortunately, we're told in school one thing, and when you get out into the public, it's different, right? We're very enigmatic. We are an enigma to the public and the profession, other professionals. Although people may think they know what we do, unfortunately, they don't. We haven't done, as a profession, we haven't really done a good job advocating or educating on the full scope of practice of occupational therapy. So over the years, we've kind of been pigeonholed into one element of our profession or our scope, when we really do so much. And this is especially hard when you're going into adult therapy, because people don't know that we can provide physical rehabilitation as well as functional-based rehabilitation. We can combine the two because we have all different models of practice within occupational therapy. So we have to educate, and that's probably 85% plus of my time goes to just educating other professionals and the general public on occupational therapy and what we can do for them and what we are uniquely equipped to do. So knowing your value and knowing how to communicate what it is that you bring to the table is huge. It's so monumental that it's important now. If you feel uncomfortable talking about occupational therapy, if you feel uncomfortable, really communicating your value, to begin doing it again and again and again, because obviously being creative and being able to communicate is your lifeline. And if you find this to be one of your greatest struggles, then I would advise you to get a mentor and make sure that you practice as much as possible. This does not mean that it will not come. Creativity and your ability to communicate, it comes over time when you cultivate it, as with anything. So please, if these are areas of struggle for you, just begin growing, right? It's all about professional and personal growth when you're an entrepreneur. So lack of research in this practice area for OT, kind of a reiteration, but again, deserves its own point. As occupational therapists, we really need to be performing interventions and acting according to evidence-based research, or best practices. If you don't have a model to any kind of reference point in research acting as a basis for what you are doing, that's a problem, because in order to present yourself competently, right? In order to be a professional and have people trust you, you need to know what you're doing and why you're doing it. So when you're venturing into a practice area that isn't necessarily developed, it gets dicey, right? You have to really figure out what it is you're doing, and you have to do some digging. You have to really you have to have a lot of conversations and get a lot of guidance, because you want to make sure that you are doing right by yourself, by your business, and by the individuals that you're working with in a client capacity. So like I said, find somebody, mentorship, have somebody who's gone before you, doing what it is that you want to do. Make sure that you have somebody to talk to. Not to say that your mentor will do it for you, because a strong mentor is not going to do the work for you, but they're going to equip you with the direction and the tools you need to figure it out for yourself. And that's what a good mentorship relationship does, and offers you direction. So you really need to make sure that you have a great beacon, in whatever capacity that is for you. You want to make sure that, because there's such a lack of research, and because this is untrodden territory for many individuals. Yes, you're seeing more and more entrepreneurs kind of pop up and come to the forefront with 15, 20 years of experience, but on the full, in full, outpatient community practice is very much not done, which is why you see physical therapy clinics everywhere, but you barely see an adult occupational therapy clinic freestanding in your community. It's just not done. And then finally, rejection, setbacks, and hurdles. Guys, I hesitate in really drawing attention to this, but this is just the way it is. You are going to have setbacks, you are going to have hurdles, you are going to have rejections, things are going to be a priority that are going to interfere with your business goals. Life happens, and you just pivot. You have to be flexible. So familial priorities, right? If you have a family, if you have significant others, if you have loved ones that you're responsible for, they are a priority, and you need to find that balance. Just in general, people. You can't control people. You can't control what they'll do when you send them an email. You can't control what they'll do when you meet face to face with them. You can't control if they will start a program with you and then quit after the first day, when in your head you've prepared for an 8-week stint of time, and they're done after the first visit. You just never know. People cancel. Events cancel, where you think you're going to get all these referrals from this event and it cancels. Well, what do I do now? Things happen because you cannot control people. Technology quits on you. Technology crashes, things don't save, things need to be built. It's so dynamic. Technology is just, the depth of technology is insane. And if you aren't a tech guru, even if you are a tech guru, you cannot control technology. What it comes down to, things just happen, and so you have to leave time for that. I remember when I first began, I spent, oh my goodness, 80 hours probably in total. I'm talking about 80 hours. So it took me a lot of dedicated time I did not have, to build my website. And I didn't back it up, and I didn't have a reliable host, and I am not a website designer. I am a novice, right? I can do what I need to do with my own website, but I would never in a million years say, here, let me build your website. That is just not something I would ever do, because I'm not a tech wizard. And my website crashed. It completely crashed, and I lost all of the information, and I cried, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is it. I can't possibly do this again. I just, this is just not meant to be. It's a sign, I just can't do it. And I wanted to give up. And it took me probably a full 24 hours to get my head back in the game and restart. And I'm glad I did, but wow, what a punch to the gut, right? And then finally, tenacity. Guys, you need to have tenacity. You need to be able to be so determined that you bounce right back. That is how, fall forward, right? because you're gonna fall, right? We all fall, but fall forward. You always do. You always learn from your setback, your hurdle, your oopsie, right? Have the tenacity to get back up and keep powering through. And a quote from Julia Hartz, co-founder and CEO of Eventbrite: "I think entrepreneurship is combining a passion with the tenacity to problem solve and the fearlessness to fail." It's all about problem solving. It's all about facing setbacks and hurdles, and getting right back up, knowing that, yeah, I might fall again, I might fail again, but you know what? I'm just going to keep going anyways. And over time, you do develop this fearlessness in every given circumstance that creates more of that strength to push forward. So those are the cons of entrepreneurship, and I'm eager to know what you think of them. And I would encourage you to just write them down and build a plan so that you are and will remain in control of the major pitfalls of entrepreneurship.